For a long time, and actually even today, yes, there is. But the stigma is actually starting to reduce greatly. Even employers are now looking at GED with more respect because a person, just to be honest, go to high school, ninth grade, if they just attend enough class, are nice to the teacher, they may get passed. In the 10th grade, just learn 10th grade material, pass the test. 11th grade, just 11th grade material, pass the test. The GED, however, more and more people start to recognize that you must know 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th grade material all in the same test.
So, what are some of the main factors that lead to kids dropping out of school?
It varies a lot for different people, and a lot of it is very unfortunate. While people at one time thought that the right away thought, okay, person wasn't doing this good in school, so they just go ahead and drop out. Maybe a young lady got pregnant early, so she had to drop out. But for a lot of young people, we're seeing more and more of them are dropping out of school because they have to go to work, something at a fast food restaurant or something because maybe they have a single parent that cannot support the family with the income they're bringing in. And so the young person, they too have to leave school to try to find somebody to earn money.
Adam, you have a question?
Who benefits from the GED testing center?
Uh, the simple question is the person who takes the test. Even if someone does not pass the test the first time, they've actually benefited by seeing exactly what it is that they're required to know or being expected to know. A lot of people live very happy lives or what they believe may be happy lives, and they don't really know what it is they're supposed to know or expected to know. Before opening a testing center, I actually was a teacher, and a lot of people would go and they would speak very copiously to me, but when I gave them any document, maybe at third grade level, they could not read most of the words on the paper.
How do you prepare for the GED test?
Pathway also offers like a tutoring session. What we have is like a survey that we can give people, which shows starting with, for example, mathematics. Do the person knows fractions, decimals? Can they do geometry, algebra? We have reading surveys as well to see how big the words are a person can actually read and understand or comprehend, so they can pronounce the word, but they know what the word means. The test is not asking people to know exactly all science and biology or chemistry, but they will expect a person to know how low is the freezing point of water or how hot the boiling point of water.
Now, and how long is the test? I mean, when you take the test, you have a certain amount of time that you have to take the test?
Yeah. If a person were to use every single minute for all parts of the test, it would be a 2-day test, about 4.5 hours each day.
And you know what, Lloyd makes a good point about Judge Mathis, but I'm sure you see people who are 20, the 20-year-old who didn't want to people who are 70, 80 are taking these tests, correct,
Yeah.
Ron?
Yes. And again, the people, not only do they, because we're now seeing, in fact, more and more 16 and 17-year-olds coming to our testing center asking, okay, what do I do to end this insanity at school and take the test? People who are coming to us saying they've been on the job for 25 years, and now in order to keep their job for the next 5 years to qualify for retirement, they must get their GED. Over and over and over again, the questions that when I first started would seem, really wild to me. Now I'm almost sad by the fact that they seem almost standard.
You know, the days of coming out of high school or leaving high school and going to the plant and getting that plant job and living happily ever after are far and few between, if at all, anymore.
Yeah. In the state of Michigan, in fact, the Department of Human Services, in order to maintain public assistance, they're telling one applicant after another, GED or no money.
You know, Adrian and Adam and Lloyd and I and Zach were talking in the last segment about the environment of school, and you talked about the kids, 15, 16-year-olds, coming to the GED center wanting to take the test. Do you think that has to do with what we were all talking about in terms of the environment, not feeling safe, sick of, the whole environment of what's going on in schools today?
Yes. A lot of folks, they come into the test, young people, 17 years old, 16 years old, actually are doing very well in GED tests, but going to school and trying to do the same thing, trying to go every day, trying to be polite, trying to get the work done, and they're right away being chased out by the students.
How did the center come together?
We took a look at the fact that the city of Detroit, for example, only had 2 testing centers, and we're talking about numbers that are reaching almost 70, 80,000 people per year dropping out. These testing centers could not handle the load. And then we took a look at some of the centers that were outside of the Metro Detroit area that were charging people more money than what they could afford to take the test. So we right away said, okay, let's eliminate all these barriers. Let's create an additional center. Let's take away these costs. Let's allow option for people to actually go ahead and finish their their education to continue on with their lives.
How many people do you see that come in and take the GED test, pass it, and go on to higher education?
Oh, over and over again. One young lady, for example, came to our testing center for tutoring. After 2 days of tutoring, the instructor said to her, okay, you're ready for the test. She was a little scared, but took the test, passed the first time, and the very next week got a full ride scholarship to go to college.
Oh,
Wow, what a great story.
that's amazing.
You know, Adam and Adrian, just listening to this as, students today, what do you feel about telling kids who are struggling, about going to a testing center, to testing center?
I feel like they should take the initiative and go, because you never know what can happen, and it'll be a good opportunity for them to go and get their GED. A lot of more opportunities and doors will be open for them. This will be a good chance for them to get their life back on track and do the things they need to do.
Some kids, we all learn differently.
Oh, yeah.
And a lot of times, they don't need the distractions.
Yeah.
They're getting a lot of distractions in school. So, the end justifies the means. You still have one goal, and that's to
Do something
To
with
do
your
something
life.
with life, yeah.
And, but I'm thinking some kids who struggle, Ron, and, they might want to hear from a student like Adam or a student like Adrian to saying, if this is not for you, don't just give up. Go to a testing center. Get your GED. You think that, kids listen to peers more than they sometimes adults?
Definitely, because I remember even being back in the classroom when I would try to encourage people that they feel that, okay, you've already done it, so it's easy for you. You don't understand what I'm going through right now. So having somebody who's around their age come in really, really does help.
What would you recommend to the DPS Board of Education?
Actually, I would recommend for them to keep fighting, because I don't mean to be insulting to our legislators, but it seems like our legislators perhaps didn't do well in school, because every time they turn around, they always want to cut funding to schools first. So they must have really hated schools.
Yeah.
But I tell the teachers, to keep on trying to put up with it, try to hang in there, and hopefully sooner or later somebody will realize that we still need them to keep on doing something for young people.
Which is kind of ironic, Ron, because if we don't have the basics of an education, this state is not going to turn around.
Right.
Don't you think?
Yeah.
How important, you guys, before we wrap this up, do you think your education is?
I think education is very important. It can help you achieve a lot of things in life. It seems like without education, there won't be as many opportunities and doors open that there would be with that high school diploma or maybe that bachelor's degree from college.
How about you, Adam?
Yeah, I think education is very important too. Without an education, you most likely won't get a job.
If we don't do something on the front end as far as getting the education, they'll get us on the back end. It'll be clink.
Yeah, exactly. That's what we're end up being. Lock us up. Ron Stewart, thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
We really
Thank you, Ron.
appreciate it. It's time to close the show. It was a pleasure being with all of you, and Lloyd Jackson from WJR.
Thank
Thanks
you.
for joining us.
You're welcome.
And thanks for being part of Youth Neighborhood News, Keeping It 100, where we bring you the younger side of the news.
See you next time on Keeping It 100, brought to you by Youth Neighborhood News, where we bring you the younger side of the news.
Probably worth $100 grand. You wanna talk? Put the money in my hands. Yeah.